Full cabinet lineup announced. TIPNG launches report on unfinished business. And National Climate Change Adaptation Plan being developed. This is National MTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining me with Wednesday's news. Prime Minister Peter ONeill has welcomed the National Court's decision on outstanding legal matters relating to the Paraka legal fees case and says he will exercise his legal right to appeal to a higher court. The Prime Minister said in a statement today that there's no evidence to suggest that he or members of the government benefited personally from transactions for legal fees and contracts that were awarded. He maintained that the arrest warrant was based on information he described as being politically motivated. He says a clear set of legal precedents must be established so that it doesn't undermine future governments. The appeal against Justice Colin McCall's decision on the arrest warrant will go before Chief Justice Sir Salamo Injia at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, the original plaintiff of the Paraka legal fees case and Vanimo Green MP Belden Nama has urged Police Commissioner Gary Baki to effect the warrant of arrest for Prime Minister Peter ONeill. Today, Mr. Nama urged Commissioner Baki to invite the Prime Minister for questioning to clear him of these allegations. Mr. Nama also reiterated that Prime Minister ONeill is innocent unless proven guilty. He said every citizen of this state, regardless of stature, is subject to the rule of law.
So, Mr. Police Commissioner, the nation is watching you. The entire country is now watching you. You are duty-bound as the Police Commissioner to enforce the laws of this country. Similarly, I would like to call upon the Prime Minister, Peter ONeill, that you have a constitutional duty to the people of this country. We, the citizens of this country, are subject to the same law.
A Papua New Guinean NGO advocating against corruption says the government has failed to account for many questionable investments and in some instances failed to punish those implicated. The stern rhetoric from the Transparency International PNG comes days after the formation of government in an effort to hold the new administration to account. Bethany Harriman with this report.
The national government still has a lot of outstanding issues to address. Corruption advocacy group TIPNG highlights in a report 20 major issues left until this new government. The group classified bad investments by the government that never really got off the ground. The Boroko Casino, the National Identification Card, Padang Specific Maritime Industrial Zone, and there are the questionable deals. The Borneo Pacific Pharmaceuticals Medical Supply Controversy, the Manu Manu land deal, and many more.
Are we not more angry about this? Why are we sitting on our hands waiting for somebody else to do something about it? Why are we not screaming about it?
Transparency International PNG Chairman Lawrence Steffens launched the booklet and called on the public to hold the government accountable and demand for more answers. But the mainstream media has its role to play, and the last 10 years it hasn't been doing it.
Issues you will notice about these 20 cases is a lot of them continue to evolve, and there's a lot of activities,
The 19-page report compiled by veteran journalist Alexandra Rini highlights controversial unresolved national issues between 2007 and 2017. At the center of this is the appointment of a state minister implicated in the more recent Manu Manu land deal controversy worth 46 million kina. There are a few stakeholders working to make Papua New Guineans aware, but the task at hand is difficult, they say. People aren't reacting to the rampant corruption that is happening right under their nose. But the people have found a glimmer of hope in new leaders that make up a full opposition bench.
I'm afraid if nothing happens, the cancer will eat the heart of Papua New Guinea. And you know If one survives a cancer, you are never the same person. Very never person. So Papua New Guinea's future is at stake. Very much at stake. We have to speak out.
Mosby Northwest MP Somakera Marauta described corruption as a cancer that's eating the fabrics of Papua New Guinean society. While many may look at the opposition, Transparency International PNG says the people still have the power to influence drastic change, even after the elections. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
The Climate Change and Development Authority, or CCDA, is working with key government agencies and private stakeholders to develop a national adaptation plan. The plan aims to reduce Papua New Guinea's vulnerability to the impacts of climate change by building capacity and resilience. Head of CCDA, Ruel Yamuna, says a unified strategy is key to capturing the steps needed to address climate change. According to CCDA, the National Adaptation Plan aims to address the needs and context with specific solutions to what PNG communities face as climate change takes its toll. The workshop is reviewing existing policies and programs that have policies to address climate change and its effects. The two-day workshop will furnish a draft plan by tomorrow. In the news ahead, National EMTV News will be back after the break. Welcome back to the news. The Auditor General of Papua New Guinea, Philip Nauga, has been referred to the Public Prosecutor by the Ombudsman Commission for alleged misconduct in office. In a statement received by EMTV, the subject on the referral relates to 4 allegations of misconduct that occurred between 2012 and 2015. Public Prosecutor Pondros Kaluwin said to pursue the file to determine whether there is sufficient credible and cogent evidence to prosecute before advising the National Executive Council. Eastern Highlands Governor Peter Numu is urging his fellow leaders to unite and move the province forward. He says corruption has crippled the public service and people are suffering. One of his priorities is to revitalize the public service machinery, beginning with the provincial administrator's permanent appointments.
Following his declaration of loyalty yesterday, the new Eastern Highlands governor said despite different political affiliations, elected Eastern Highlands MPs must work together for the good of the people. Governor Numu said people have suffered enough from dirty politics played in the past term of government.
My concern is to set up a commission of inquiry as the power is given to the PEC under the organic law guiding the provincial administration, to set up a commission of inquiry to thoroughly check all the accounts, get some people arrested.
A key dilemma Governor Numu is addressing first and foremost is the permanent appointment of a provincial administrator. Mr. Numu said this has been a struggle under the previous leadership of Governor Julius Soso.
Under my leadership, I want to push for a permanent provincial administrator to get the public machinery in order. There has to be a head who is permanent, of confidence in his seat, so that we can roll out all the projects.
Eastern Highlands has a population of close to 450,000 people. The province has 8 districts and shares borders with Padang, Simbu, Morobe and Gulf. The new governor says all districts will review their development plans so public services are aligned.
We have to work together as a team with a 5-year development plan for the province in line with the district, in line with the provincial plan, so that when we make budget, we have to make budget accordingly.
So far, Mr. Numu is the youngest serving governor in Eastern Highlands political history. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Padang MP Brian Kramer has cleared the air of his intentions to donate his settling-in allowance for medical assistance. The social media blogger turned Member of Parliament stirred controversy on social media after a publication about donating these funds. Kramer said his intention was to reveal to the public how much allowances Members of Parliament are entitled to.
But I can assist them in the right direction.
Mr. Kramer stirred controversy on social media after announcing a donation of his settling-in allowance of 5,000 kina. On Sunday, Kramer published on several social media pages calling for families in his district who are in need of medical assistance.
So I didn't feel good accepting that money, especially at times when our economy is as bad as it is. People are losing their jobs, people are struggling, families are struggling to put their kids into school, or even for basic medical services. So I offered it to any family from my electorate that has a family member that's in need, desperate need of financial assistance for their whatever medical cause they have.
Settling-in allowance is given to each Member of Parliament on the first sitting.
The reason why I publish in this case is because that's not my money, that's public money. And people aren't aware of how much allowances members of public receive. So that was also the reason why I went out of my way to publish it. Because the money didn't come from me personally. It wasn't something that I earned. It was something that was given to me in my capacity as the Member of Parliament, and that money allowances derived from everyday Papua New Guineans. So in a way, it was important, I saw it, for me to put that publicly so people know what Members of Parliament get, and I intend to make those things public.
Although this is part of the system, Kramer questions why these funds have been distributed when the country is facing economical tough times.
It's not like the Members of Parliament asked for it, and I think the system is wrong. If we had a thriving economy, a thriving middle class, where everyone had a home and lived comfortably, fair enough, but we don't. So I think we need to review, and these are the issues I'll be raising in Parliament and publicly, that taking away our privileges that we shouldn't be entitled to.
Meanwhile, in his term as member for Padang Open, Kramer intends to take the DSIP funds away from the member and distribute them on a ward level. His first agenda is crime and women issues. Merlin Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
President of the Autonomous Region of Bougainville, Chief John Momes, has signalled the 4 national MPs of Bougainville to work closely with the Autonomous Bougainville government for the full implementation of the Bougainville Peace Agreement. This is because the referendum conduct will be held in their term of parliament. He has called on them to work in close consultation with both governments to proactively pursue the autonomous arrangements and move the referendum agenda forward. Turning overseas, the United States Pacific Island territory of Guam has received threats from North Korea. This is just hours after President Donald Trump told the North Korea that any threat to the United States would be met with fire and fury. North Korea says it's looking at plans on a military strike that appears to be a direct response to Monday's flight of U.S. bomber over the Korean peninsula from Guam's Anderson Airport.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
Look, frankly, these are stunning words to hear from an American president. This is not the kind of rhetoric that you usually hear coming from the leader of the United States. The words he has chosen to use are much more resonant of the kind of tone, the kind of language that you hear from Pyongyang, and you're hearing more of that language this morning. Here in the region, it's the threats from Pyongyang that are sort of drowning out that ultimatum made by President Trump. More on why in just a moment. But we really saw a fast-moving barrage of threats from Pyongyang carried by state news this morning. Some some of those threats quite specific, including a plan to look at an attack on Guam using long and medium-range missiles. Why Guam? Because it is the home of thousands of U.S. servicemen and women, also the home of those bombers that had been deployed over the Korean Peninsula as recently as Monday in training exercises, the kind of exercises that Pyongyang has strictly objected to. They see these kinds of training exercises as a preparation for invasion. They see this as really an offensive gesture from the United States. They're slamming back. And while it is typical, well, it's frankly normal for Pyongyang to issue these very bellicose threats, there's a reason that these threats are perhaps resounding more than some have in the past. And that's because of the capability, frankly, that North Korea has recently shown. It's backed up by those two recent ICBM tests that they did back in July, and also this latest intelligence assessment suggesting that Pyongyang does in fact have a miniaturized nuclear warhead that could be mounted to a missile. That doesn't say whether or not Pyongyang is capable of the technology that's required for the re-entry of that kind of weapon. Now, let's get back to those comments from President Trump. Fiery as they were, threatening fire and fury if Pyongyang continued with its threats. Again, bold words for U.S. President, likely taking a lot of people by surprise, but we haven't heard official comment on that language from the officials here in the region. And frankly, there might be a reason for that. There are close alliances here. South Korea, Japan both depend on the United States for defense, for their security. They're trying to work very closely to defuse this threat. So right now, they are not fanning the flames of that ultimatum issued by President Trump.
And we now join CNN for an interview with Guam's Homeland Security Advisor.
Colonel, thank you for being with us. How serious are you taking this threat, which has been issued by the North Koreans?
Well, we consider any threat to the island very serious, and this is right up our, all the other threats, natural or man-made. Whether they're earthquakes, typhoon, tsunami, cyber attacks, they're all serious to us.
Given the current situation with the escalating tension between North Korea and the United States and the news that they now could have this ability to fire an ICBM, if not now, fairly soon in the future, does this threat by the North Koreans feel different to previous threats which they have issued against Guam?
Yes, it is. They've slowly developed their capabilities, but we stand really in high confidence with the U.S. Department of Defense's ability to not only defend Guam and the surrounding areas, but also the continental U.S. I have very high confidence in them. There are several layers of ballistic missile defense, and they're available online. Just Google National Military Defense, and you'll see everything that's unclassified.
Right.
That's out there.
Your department did issue a public statement a short time ago. It read, "For now, we advise the community to remain calm. Remember that there are defences in place for threats such as North Korea and to continue to remain prepared for all hazards." So can you tell us exactly what are those defences which are in place for Guam?
Okay, I can only talk to unclassified ones. So there's several of these. One of them is the THAAD, THAAD. A few years ago, a permanent deployment of that missile system was placed on Guam. That's one of them. There's several warships out there that the U.S. routinely uses. They're called Aegis warships. So all those are all the layers of defense that I'm talking about.
Okay, and what's been the reaction? I think, the population of Guam is about 160,000 people. How are they reacting at the moment?
Well, it's around 170,000 Americans, U.S. citizens here on Guam. That counts the military that's stationed there. There's also another 50,000 to 60,000 U.S. citizens north of us in the Northern Marianas. So some of them, are concerned about it, but my job is to calm them. And we've been doing that. We've been doing a host of outreach briefings to, key leaders, our mayors, our legislature, our school officials, everybody, our Chamber of Commerce, to, educate them on exactly what it is the threat is and what we have in terms of defending against it.
Well, clearly the U.S. Anderson Air Force Base is the reason why Guam is being threatened by the North Koreans. It's a strategic base for the United States. They sometimes refer to it as the tip of the spear for the U.S. military in Asia.
Well, I don't think that's the reason why. Guam is U.S. soil. Mm-hmm. It is an American territory. So, we're the nearest to Korea. So if you really wanted to poke the U.S. in the eye, you would, threaten Guam, because you threaten Guam and you're threatening the United States of America. So it's not just because we have an Air Force base or a Navy base here. Sure, those two bases are strategic to the interest of the U.S., but, we are U.S. soil.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3145 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.307 US, $0.3842 Australian dollars, $0.2574 euro, and 33.45 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee and copra closed higher, while cocoa closed the day lower. Palm oil and copper closed higher, while crude oil is trading the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 33.08 points lower, the ASX closed at 21.6 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 19.8 points higher. You're at National EMTV News. We'll be back with more after the break. Welcome back. The full list of ministerial appointments for the ONeill Able government was announced this afternoon in Port Moresby. The announcement and swearing in this afternoon was made at the Government House before Governor-General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai. Also present to witness the event were the heads of most government departments and agencies.
The cabinet is made up of 33 ministers. Their responsibilities are as follows. Prime Minister and NEC Sports and APEC, Peter ONeill, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Treasury, Charles Abel, Intergovernment Relations, Kevin Isifu, Finance and Rural Development, James Marape, National Planning and Monitoring, Richard Maru, Public Enterprise and State Investments, William Duma, Petroleum and Energy, Fabian Pork, Mining, Johnson Tuke, Foreign Affairs and Trade, Rimbing Pato, Public Service, Elias Kapavore, Environment, Conservation and Climate Change, John Pundari, Transport, Wesley Nukunj, Commerce and Industry, Wera Mori, Agriculture and Livestock, Benny Allen, Community Development, Youth and Religion, Soroi Eoe, Tourism and Culture, Emil Tamur, Education, Nick Kuman, Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Pila Niningi, Justice and Attorney General, Davis Stephen, Defense, Solan Mirisim, Police, Jelta Wong, Correctional Services, Roy Biama, Housing and Urbanization, John Kaupa, Labor and Industrial Relations, Mera Kipefa, Health and HIV/AIDS, Sepuka Temu, Fisheries, Patrick Bassa, Communication and Information Technology, Francis Maneke, Works and Implementation, Michael Nally, Lands and Physical Planning, Justin Tuchenko, Civil Aviation, Alfred Manasse, Bougainville Affairs, Father Simon Dumarinu, Forestry, Douglas Tumoriesa, and Immigration and Border Security, Petrus Thomas. Prime Minister Peter ONeill is confident of the new cabinet, saying they bring with them a wealth of knowledge.
You can see from the lineup, There's a good wealth of experience and young talent who are coming in to save our country over the next few years. I know that they will give it their best in their ability to saving our nation and our people, and today is the beginning of that. Tomorrow we will have our first cabinet to begin the work that is ahead of us in meeting the aspirations of our people and our country. We thank you for the support that our people have extended to our government over the past election, and we look forward to meeting the challenges that they want us to meet in the coming days.
Deli Waigeno, National, EMTV News.
Deported Catholic missionary Douglas Tenant has returned to his home in Kokopo this afternoon. He was welcomed by members from the Rabaul Catholic Archdiocese and the East New Britain Provincial Government. Mr. Tenant from New Zealand was deported June 12 by officers from the Office of the Immigration and Citizenship Service Authority. The Immigration Office claimed that Mr. Tenant has breached his work permit. A court order obtained by the Catholic Archdiocese demanded Tenant must return to the country. It is understood his return is on condition that he must not get involved in other issues that don't concern the Catholic Church. Turning overseas again, China's local government and official media have confirmed 9 people were killed, including 6 tourists, and 164 injured in an earthquake that struck the Sichuan province yesterday.
The U.S. Geological Survey said the earthquake happened on Tuesday evening at a depth of 10 kilometers. It was also close to the province's nature reserve, a tourist destination. This morning, state broadcaster CCTV said as many as 31,500 tourists have been evacuated from the quake zone. The Sichuan Earthquake Administration measured the quake at a magnitude of 7.0. China has a 4-level earthquake emergency response system, with level 1 being the most urgent. The Chinese Earthquake Administration activated the level 1 emergency response procedure on Tuesday when the merciless earthquake struck. Rescue teams were quickly deployed in the area to carry out emergency rescue operations. CCTV believes that many are buried in the rubble. Military medical organizations around Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan, were also on standby, preparing medical equipment ready for the influx of victims. The China Earthquake Administration said 107 aftershocks have been detected, and there are possibilities that quakes of around 6 magnitude will hit the area in the next coming days. Melissa Gaviro, EMTV World News.
Country music star Glen Campbell has passed on at the age of 81 after a long illness. A memorial wreaths and other momentums were being left as tributes along the Hollywood walks of fame. The award-winning artist is best remembered for his hits. And back home, a community in Western Province is positioning itself to fully participate in resource projects in their area. Under the landowner company, Kalgurut Sipdim Curious Holdings Limited, they officially created a joint venture company with an Australian engineering firm. The MOA was signed in Kiunga today and was witnessed by the Fly Administration and OTML representatives.
3 cultural groups from the North Fly area welcomed the participants to the event. They represented the Nomad, Faiwol and Yongom people in the North Fly district. In their part of the country, another gas project, PNG, is a matter of national importance. But for this group of landowners, they say they want to fully participate in the development of this gas project, which means they do not want to be seen as just traditional custodians of the resource.
As a local landowner company, local landowners, you make it right, and in oil and gas sector, I'm giving us the opportunity to participate in the business projects, in the petroleum and mining one time. But then, I need him, you may have to sign up, organize him, you may inside also he got corporate person, na natural man. Corporate person will be the company. You will participate in a business project, or especially mining the petroleum and business. Business law and apply.
Following this thinking, today they officially signed an MOA with Value Added Engineering and formed a joint venture company called Weightlifting.
All events that happened this morning or this day, it's all to prove to the government. Prove to the government that we landowner can do it and we landowner can participate in our projects.
Loth Gurulok is the chairman of the landowner company, and he says he is excited.
I have aims and goals to participate in big major projects. So I see that my dreams are fulfilled now.
VAE has been engaged in projects in the country for 14 years. In 2011, they won a major project working in PNG LNG project in Highlands.
Recently, we've secured projects and we're the mechanical contractor doing the engineering and construction for the Star Mountain project in Port Moresby. And recently, we were awarded a similar contract by Leighton Contractors for the convention centre for APEC House.
Part of the working philosophy VAE brings to the partnership is to ensure there is efficient skills transfer.
We can follow a philosophy that we've had previously of giving back to the community by way of training and upskilling for various trades and for training and upskilling in the services required for such large projects.
You better not sit back now, you may expect a miracle to happen. No, this is the way.
Sarah Aupong, National MTV News, Kiunga.
Chukai Sports is next. Hunters to face Black Hawks this weekend. I will be back with the details.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. PNG Hunters enter round 23 of the Queensland Super Cup with a massive challenge as they face the Townsville Blackhawks this weekend at Jack Munsky Oval in Townsville. But Blackhawks are confident they've rediscovered their killer instinct after defeating the Central Capras 26-14 last weekend.
Coach Michael Marum is confident in running with the same side that beat the Ipswich Jets last weekend. Brandy Peter is yet to prove himself fit to play. He's recovering from an injury and is being monitored by the team doctor. Marum says they have a replacement available if Brandy does not recover in time.
Enoch Maki can come in, start front rower and push another new player back into the bench here.
Though the Hunters beat the Blackhawks 42-4 in round 12, they will be difficult to beat this weekend.
Blackhawks, they have a big forward pack. They got experience. They got NRL players in their side. There's a few boys in there that probably have played NRL games with the Cowboys, so they'll be really tough at home. We've seen that how they go forward with the ball. They got a dummy half that controls the game around with the two halves. So, you know, the leading point scorer in the competition is playing for them.
The Hunters are preparing well for the weekend clash and are positive about what they want to do. With 3 matches left before the finals, they will be hoping to win all 3 games to claim this year's minor premiership title.
We set our goals to win the remaining 3 games to secure #1 spot as minor premier. So, you know, it won't be easy. Blackhawks, we know that. Okay, we got another home game after that, and then we got the Tweedheads after. So, you know, all we want is our best performance out there.
Elijah Levette, National MTV Sports.
Meanwhile, PNG Hunters fullback Stargrowth Amian has continued his outstanding form over the last months. He says his only aim is to stay focused all throughout the 80 minutes.
Stargrowth Amien's performance in recent months has been nothing short of spectacular. He has carried on his form from the Pacific Test match against the Cook Islands in May this year and has built on that ever since. The secret behind his exceptional performance is hard work and training.
Main goal is I aim for it's to stay focused and relaxed, not to think about the next the all 80 minutes, but the first set. When we kick off the first 6 tackle or when we receive the ball first 6 tackle, that's my main goal, to complete those. And the other thing is less drop ball or no drop ball at all.
Amien's try-scoring ability and support play has also improved.
If we go down there and we do like we come out with a win, then I think we'll secure. Hopefully we'll in the home game and we'll secure the minor premier. But our biggest goal right now at the camp is to focus on our day-to-day training and day-to-day preparation for the weekly game. So we are not looking at the minor premier at the moment. We are just concentrating on our training and things like that at the moment.
The Hunters are on the brink of securing the minor premiership title, but the fullback says the team is more focused on preparations leading up to every game.
Ase Boas and Watson Boas and Watu Puara, they really direct the play in the game time, and their communication with me has improved a lot. Come out from my cell and perform the way I'm performing. So yeah, and big thanks to the forward pack to lay the foundation as well. So they're doing the hard yards. And
his performance last weekend earned him his third Best Back award, which was presented by Melanesian Trustees Limited. David Loco received the award for Best Forward. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
And Papua New Guinea's weightlifting champion Stephen Curry has returned to the Oceania Weightlifting Institute in New Caledonia ahead of the 2018 Commonwealth Games. The 24-year-old is back in training after much controversy surrounding his refusal to join the PNG contingent in training leading up to the Games. However, the Hanuabada lad made a strong return with a silver-winning performance at the recent French National Championship and looks for the upcoming events. Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The second module of the Beyond the Goalpost program kicked off yesterday at the National Football Stadium. The second module is an overview of the first, where referees will undergo 10 units via 3 modules and a final assessment to obtain accreditation equivalent to the Australian NRL Level 1 accreditation. 23 participants comprised of high school students and volunteers took part in the training. The NRL, in partnership with the PNG RFL, launched the Junior Referee Education Program in May this year as part of NRL's capacity building and a development pathway for young PNG RFL referees. In cricket, the PNG Under-19 men's cricket team have thrashed Samoa by 212 runs in the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup qualifiers for the East Asia Pacific 2017 competition. Backing up their Day 1 win over Fiji, opener Igor John Mahuru led from the top with 98 runs off 139 balls. PNG scored 295 from 50 overs as Samoa's batters struggled to make any runs. The top team will qualify for the 2018 ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup in New Zealand come January 2018. To football, Samoa impressed the home crowd with a 4-0 win over Tahiti to earn their first win of the OFC Under-16 Championship in Samoa. Meanwhile, regional powerhouse New Zealand continued their dominant form with a 7-0 thrashing over New Caledonia.
Knowing New Zealand's goal-scoring capabilities, New Caledonia took to the field with a plan of action, sticking to their defensive format and keeping their opponents at bay. But New Zealand eventually broke the barriers in the 17th minute and went on a goal-scoring spree. New Zealand coach Leon Burney was pleased to see his side trying to play the structure and style they have been developing at trainings.
2 points around the game today. I thought, credit to Machu and the New Caledonian girls. I thought they made it really difficult for us at times, and that was reflected on the scoreboard. And secondly, we found it challenging in the heat. We've done it with the trainings and also today, and that's a key learning for the girls. We've got to do everything properly off the field, and then when we're out there, and it does get tough and it does get challenging. Mentally, they've got to work through that, and I thought that was a big challenge today.
The second match of the day saw a well-drilled Samoa side outplaying Tahiti to secure a surprising 4-0 victory. Samoa coach Guillermo Seltenwolf was overjoyed with his side's execution of their game plan and is feeling more confident ahead of their final group match against New Zealand.
Thanks a lot. Absolutely. I'm very, very proud of the girls. I was not expecting a 5-0, but the girls did a fantastic job.
Shane Saroya, National MTV Sports.
It brings an entirely new meaning to the word chicken run, but the annual World Hen Raising Championships brought some extra excitement to England's Peak District on Saturday. Hens have been in strict training for the past couple of months, preparing for their annual World Championships. The venue for this event is a rural pub called the Barleymow Pub in a small village called Bonsall.
Every year, about 30 to 40 of the world's fastest chickens run along a track to strict international criteria. They must have both clawed feet on the starting line, and there is no pecking allowed.
Keep still, get off the neck.
The area has a long history of hen racing, the most famous race being the Ibok hen race. The races at the Barleymow began 29 years ago, when the then landlord Alan Webster decided it was time to revive this delightful old tradition.
There is some people who are really serious. The lad that won last year, he's won twice in the last 3 years, and he does actually train. He's only 10, and I see him up at school because he's at school with my kids, and he'll say to me, "Oh, that young chicken I was telling you about, I weren't going to race it till next year, but by God, it's come on in the last few weeks."
The whole event, the biggest of the year for the town of Bonsall, concludes by finding out which of these fine beasts is the fastest chicken in the world. The 2017 hen race was held on a typical English summer's day, slight rain and patchy sunshine. According to locals, the course was good to firm.
Having another bath. No, them two disqualified.
There were several hundred spectators egging on their favourite competitors, some of whom, as in one eventful heat, seemed to lose interest in sight of the line, while others were more interested in fighting. The final was won by Cooked It, whose time was just under 5 seconds. Second place was stablemate Pluck Edit, a previous winner of the event. The winner's trainer was Jack Alsop, a 9-year-old schoolboy from Ible in Derbyshire who has a collection of racing hens.
She's the world's fastest hen and she has lots of world records.
He has previously won the event in 2013, 2015 and 2016. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Fine although cloudy in Port-Mandaru, rainy although cloudy in Kerma and Alotau, and showers in Popondetta. Mostly fine although partly cloudy in Wewak in the Momase region. In the New Guinea Islands region, thundery showers, then partly cloudy and windy in Buka. And in the Highlands region, morning fog clearing into rain drizzle, then cloudy in all centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's the news, sports and weather for this Wednesday, the 9th of August 2017. From the entire news team, I'm Helen Seah. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.